Oh, hello. Are you here for a video? I don't know if I have one ready. I think I do. It's coming. Right now. What's up, VC? Thanks for joining me today. This is a video about something. What was it again? Oh, 5 bands that, 5 older bands that I didn't listen to when they released their earlier stuff. 5 bands that came out in the 80s or so. I think they all came out in the 80s. One of them maybe not. One band started actually in the 70s. This first one might have been later. Oh yeah. Nope. 1989. So it's 5 bands that I didn't listen to when they first came out, like when they originally were huge bands. I mean, most of these bands are still pretty big in a way. They are all pretty big. Everybody knows these bands. If you're like a metalhead, it's all metal. These are all bands I didn't listen to as a teenager. I didn't either know about them or they just didn't interest me at the time. Like this first one, Coroner. This is No More Color. I had never heard of this band. I didn't know about this band back in the 80s. This came out in 1989. I had never heard of Coroner. I don't remember how I found out about Coroner. Maybe some downloading software, like a Napster type of thing, like LimeWire or something. Possibly through YouTube. Or maybe it was through a streaming service and it recommended Coroner possibly. And I listened to it and I liked it. I don't remember exactly how I found out about them though. Now I have 2 of their albums and I have a bunch on my streaming service I use. I stream them sometimes. They're a band that I have trouble concentrating on the music with for some reason. I don't know what it is. Vector is this is technical thrash. Vector is also kind of technical thrash. I think it might be a technical thrash thing where there's so much there, especially with Vector, that it's hard to like focus on the music and just, listen to it. This isn't so much like Vector. Vector has so much going on. This is more just straightforward, like technical riffing and solos and stuff. I don't know. I've listened to this many times, and the one song that I really know is "Die by My Hand," which is a good song. No Need to Be Human, Read My Scars, DOA. I couldn't tell you what those sound like, and it's terrible to say that. What else? Mistress of Deception. Tunnel of Pain is another one that caught my attention. Why It Hurts, no. Lost Entertainment. So Tunnel of Pain and Die by My Hand are the 2 that I remember a lot. Those are the 2 that really stuck with me on this album. So, yeah, Coroner. I just have to listen to them more, I guess. I have to listen to them in a car, because that's where I can listen better. If I'm working and listen to them, I not really concentrate on the music, it's just background noise. And listening to the record here, I have so little time to actually sit here and listen to the music. My wife's here, if I'm listening to something, she's talking. My kid's here, she's talking. I have time right now, but only half an hour to listen to music. So I'm listening to what I already listened to, so that I won't have to sit and listen. We're listening to, you can't really see it. It's a Blood Incantation. I don't even know if you can hear it. There's that one. Okay, the second one, which might get a lot of people like, what? Really? You're a thrash guy, though. Yeah, I am. The second one's Exodus. This is Pleasures of the Flesh. This is a red vinyl when this came out, reissue. Yeah, I don't know what it was with Exodus. They also are another band that just didn't. I knew about them. I knew the song Toxic Waltz, but I listened to the whole album and that didn't really grab my attention. I don't know if it was because it wasn't produced real super well like Metallica's albums and Anthrax's albums, where it was like super overproduced, kind of. I guess Metallica and Anthrax weren't really super overproduced, but they, like Anthrax especially, grabbed my attention more. And I think his singing was what wasn't really doing it for me. I've grown into his voice. I like his singing now. Still on this one, these older ones, I mean, I like him good on, what? I liked his voice on Tempo of the Damned, and then Blood In, Blood Out. Was it Blood In, Blood Out? Is that the name of it? The last one, the last Exodus album that came out back like 5 years ago. He sounds better in those two, I think. On here, I don't know what it is, but I never got into Exodus. Like this one, like Pleasures of the Flesh is a good song. Chemical. Parasite, like my favorite song on here. Brain Dead, Faster Than You'll Ever Be. Parasite and Chemical, I think, were the two that got my attention. So I mean, I'm not able to really comprehend, like lose interest, I guess, these bands. Not all of them though, just these two. Okay, this next one, it's another one people like, really? It's Judas Priest. At the time, during the 80s, when I was in high school and really getting into music, they weren't fast enough for me. I was looking for fast, aggressive music. And Judas Priest wasn't. They had some fast songs, like when Painkiller came out. That was the 90s though, 1991. The song Painkiller, that was like speed metal. On this album, I mean, I heard You Got Another Thing Coming. I told this story before. I was like, I saw the video for that song and I really liked it because it was not the poppy shit that was on the freaking MTV all the time. You know, like the Paula Abdul's, who I do like, and Madonna, and all the pop and just easy listening rock shit, you know, like Air Supply and all that crap. I mean, I like listening to that stuff sometimes, but it's not my first choice. And I'm not saying it's bad. If you like it, great. But anyway, I never listened to Judas Priest. I never bought their albums. I mean, I think I did listen to Painkiller because somebody had it. And I liked the song Painkiller. I think it's a Nightcrawler. That kind of got my attention. But this one, yeah, I never actually went out and bought any Judas Priest because it wasn't heavy enough, fast enough for me. But I mean, this is a good album, except for, you know, Break These Chains. This is a terrible, terrible song. If you took that song off, this album, if you took off, take These Chains. Why do I say Break These Chains? Take These Chains, and I think Fever was another one I didn't like. Actually, you know what? Bloodstone was kind of, and Pain and Pleasure was kind of, The Hellion, Electric Eye, I think Riding on the Wind wasn't too bad. Screaming for Vengeance, of course. You've Got Another Thing Coming, of course. And Devil's Child. Those are all good. I mean, Judas Priest, honestly, they always have like, say like one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, about one side of an album, if you do it that way, 5, 6 songs out of a 10 or 11 song album. are usually like really fucking good, and the rest is like filler. Like Take These Chains, that is absolute filler shit, and I hate it. I hate it. It's crap. Some people like that song, but it sounds like poppy, soft rock, not soft rock, poppy rock, pop rock shit. You know, it would have been on the radio at the time. I hate it. I hate it. This next one. Okay, let's move on. Next one. Obituary. For this one, it's because I wasn't listening to a lot of death metal back then. Okay? I think all I was listening to was Entombed, Clandestine, and Death, Spiritual Healing. I believe those are the only two death metal albums I had in my cassette collection at the time. People tried playing Deicide for me. I still don't like Deicide. They tried playing something else. I forgot, some other death metal band from the 80s. I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, listening to these guys now, this is one of my top 10 favorite bands, Obituary. This album is a masterpiece. Okay, at the time, I really don't think there's anything that sounded like this. Because back then, most death metal was like faster. This was like almost doomy or sludgy. It was kind of slower. It was down-tuned so much, and it was just an absolute amazing album. And I wish I would have listened to these guys back then. Speaking of Obituary, I had ordered their second album. Was that Cause of Death? I think it was their second album. Like back in June. I haven't received it. I actually contacted the place. It was through Amazon, through Oxfordshire, England company or something like that. Contacted them, and they refunded my money because it's been since June since they ordered it. It's now October 9th is when I'm filming this. So, anyway, I'm just upset because that's a great album as well. I think it's even better than this one. But, yeah, Obituary, I mean, like, everything on here. Blood-soaked, Stinkopus, Words of Evil, Suffocation, Intoxicated, Deadly Intentions. I mean, this is a masterpiece. Were all their albums good? No. Internal Bleeding, Godly Beings, Till Death, the title track, Mortal Visions, Gates to Hell. I mean, it was just brutal ass shit. This is more brutal than freaking Death. But there have been more bands that come out that have been more brutal than Obituary, but they put on a hell of a show. That's for sure. The last one. Voivod. I don't even think I knew about this band back then. And now I have like 4 or 5 albums of theirs. A couple originals. I have their first one, OG. Killing Technology. Oh no, this one. This is an OG. Dimension Hatros. Hatros? However you say it. A lot going on in this music too, really. Think about it. Like the first 3 or 4 albums are all just like chaos noise. But listening to them now, I mean, they got some freaking talent, man. Can I tell you what the name of some of the songs on here? Not really, because this is just like Coroner and Vector. I have trouble concentrating. Like Brain Scan. I think Trial Convictions might have been one that got me. Macro Solutions to Mega Problems, possibly. Yeah. So Voivod, another one of those bands I listened to when they originally came out. because I didn't know about them. Back in the 80s, actually mid to late 80s, early 90s, I was all about the thrash, the speed and the thrash. The big four. I listened to them a lot, and then other bands that kind of popped up on my radar, like the Suicidal Tendencies, Faith or Fear. 2 albums come out. Overkill, of course. Can't forget Overkill. Sanctuary. But yeah. So Voivod, the last one. I had 2 other ones, but I didn't really listen to them either. I'm just gonna do 5. I'm not gonna do the other 2. It would have been 7. That's a weird number. So anyway, that's it. Nothing else. Thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you'd like. Give me a thumbs down if you don't. Leave a comment. I'm sure a lot of you watching me have listened to these guys, these bands, back then when I didn't. Like I said, I didn't really start getting into music until like the late 80s, early 90s, and then the grunge explosion happened, and everybody started listening to grunge more than the metal, even though I still kept listening to the metal. But I was also listening to the grunge. And then the 90s happened and other stuff. And so I didn't really get back into metal until the early 2000s, I think. I think the whole 90 to 2001, 2002. Nope, 2001. Yeah. From 1990 to 2001, I wasn't really listening to a whole lot of metal per se. I was listening to whatever was on the radio, on MTV. I really got into Papa Roach. First album, one song, Last Resort. That was it. So, but that's a story for another time. Rock on.